Have you ever known exactly what you should do, but still couldn't do it? Not because you were weak, not because you were lazy, but because your mind was at war with itself. If you've ever felt stuck between your responsibilities and your emotions, then you already understand Arjuna better than you think. Most people remember Arjuna as a great warrior, the greatest archer of the Mahabharata, a hero, a fighter, a legend. But that is not what makes Arjuna important. What makes Arjuna timeless is that he represents every human being who has ever struggled with doubt. Because despite all his strength, Arjuna broke down when it mattered most. And maybe that's exactly why his philosophy matters today. Think about it. Arjuna had skill, discipline, training, respect. Yet when he stood on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he couldn't move. His hands trembled. His mind collapsed. His confidence disappeared. Why? Because for the first time in his life, the battle was not outside him. It was inside him. And if we're being honest, that's where most of our battles happen too. You know you should study, but you procrastinate. You know you should leave a toxic situation, but you stay. You know what must be done, yet something inside keeps pulling you back. That was Arjuna's battle. And that is where his philosophy begins. Most people think strength means never feeling fear. Arjuna proves the opposite. Real strength begins when fear is acknowledged. Because Arjuna didn't hide his confusion. He didn't pretend to be fearless. He admitted he was broken. And that honesty became the beginning of his transformation. This is something most people never understand. They spend their lives acting strong, pretending everything is fine, hiding uncertainty behind confidence. But Arjuna teaches something different. The person who admits confusion can find wisdom. The person who denies it remains trapped. That is why Arjuna asked questions. And those questions changed history. Because wisdom begins the moment the ego stops pretending it already knows everything. Have you noticed how difficult that is today? People would rather defend a wrong opinion than admit they are lost. They would rather appear confident than become wiser. Arjuna chose humility. And humility became his greatest weapon. But perhaps the deepest part of Arjuna's philosophy is his relationship with responsibility. Because Arjuna wanted to run, he wanted to escape the battle, not because he was a coward, because he cared. The people standing before him were family, teachers, friends, people he loved, and suddenly doing the right thing became painful. Have you ever experienced that? When the correct decision is also the hardest one. When doing what is necessary feels like losing something important. Arjuna lived inside that conflict, and this is where his philosophy becomes uncomfortable. Because Arjuna eventually realized something most people spend years avoiding. Avoiding responsibility doesn't remove suffering, it only delays it. Many people think peace comes from escape. Arjuna discovered peace comes from acceptance. Acceptance of duty, acceptance of reality. Acceptance of what must be done, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. That lesson alone separates maturity from immaturity. Because children follow comfort, adults follow responsibility. And Arjuna's entire journey is the journey from comfort toward responsibility. But there is another lesson hidden beneath the surface, a lesson that feels even more relevant today. Arjuna understood that talent means nothing without discipline. He was gifted, extraordinarily gifted. Yet his greatness was not built on talent. It was built on relentless practice, hour after hour, year after year. While others searched for shortcuts, Arjuna searched for mastery, and that mindset is becoming rare. Today people want results immediately, success immediately, confidence immediately. They want the reward before earning the skill. Arjuna's philosophy rejects that completely. He teaches that excellence is not an event. It is a lifestyle. A commitment repeated every day, even when nobody is watching, even when progress feels invisible, even when quitting seems easier. And maybe that is why Arjuna remains powerful thousands of years later. Because human nature has not changed. People still struggle with fear, still struggle with discipline, still struggle with responsibility, still struggle with self-doubt. The battlefield simply looks different now. Today the enemy is distraction, comparison, addiction, comfort, overthinking. The war continues. Only the weapons have changed. And perhaps the greatest lesson Arjuna leaves behind is that doubt itself is not the enemy. Everyone doubts. Everyone fears. Everyone hesitates. The real enemy is allowing doubt to decide your actions. Arjuna felt fear, but eventually he acted. He felt uncertainty, but eventually he moved forward. He felt overwhelmed, but eventually he chose courage over comfort. And that is the heart of his philosophy. Not perfection, not fearlessness, not invincibility. Courage. The courage to act even when your mind is full of questions. The courage to keep moving when certainty doesn't exist. The courage to carry responsibility when nobody else wants to. Because in the end, Arjuna was never great because he could shoot an arrow. He became great because he learned to aim his mind. And once a person learns that, no battlefield can truly defeat them.